To many, Earl Anthony is known as the all-time greatest bowler in history. His tour title record lasted for 30 years, broken this season by Walter A. Williams Jr. He won Player of the Year 6 times, the George Young High Average Award 5 times, multiple titles 9 times in his career, and a PBA record 8 majors. Today, we honor his legacy. It's the Earl Anthony Medford Classic from Medford, Oregon, next. From Lava Lanes in beautiful Medford, Oregon, ESPN brings you live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. We honor one of the game's all-time greats at the Earl Anthony Medford Classic. 4 bowlers battle for the top prize money and a 1-season tour exemption. Now all 4 are ready to roll.
This 2-time titleist is making his tour-leading 5th TV appearance of the season. Today he looks to take control of the PBA Player of the Year race. From Argyle, Texas, Wes Malott.
Big Wes Malott is having a career year. The Big Nasty leads the tour in points and is 3rd in average. Today he looks to join Norm Duke as the only 2-time winners this season.
Thank you.
This 24-year-old young gun is looking for his 2nd title this season and his 3rd in less than a year. From Wichita, Kansas, Sean Rash.
Sean Rash has been unstoppable on TV. This young gun has taken aim at the competition twice and hit the bullseye both times. Today he looks to go 3 for 3.
He's a 3-time titleist looking for his first win since 2003. Today he makes his 2nd TV appearance of the season. From Denton, Texas, Patrick Healey Jr.
Patrick Healey Jr. has one of the smoothest deliveries the game has ever known. This former amateur champion has all the tools to become a great pro. Another former Wichita State star tries to bring home his 4th career title today.
He's the defending champion at Lava Lanes. Today he looks for his 5th career Denny's PBA Tour title. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Brian Himmler.
Brian Himmler loves Medford. A year ago, he won a thriller in the finals at this very bowling center. And now he tries to repeat the feat. He has successfully defended a title before. Can he do it again?
These are your finalists competing for the title in the 2007 Earl Anthony Medford Classic.
We are so glad to be back in Medford for a 6th straight year. The hometown of PBA Hall of Famer Marshall Holman will visit with Marshall during our broadcast today. Here are the matchups. Our bowlers started with 2 7-game blocks of qualifying in the round of 64, then 3 rounds of head-to-head match play in best of 7 matches to get this far. Half of our TV field bowled collegiately at Wichita State. Hello, bowling fans. Glad you could join us. Welcome to Southern Oregon. Well, so far in our season, we have just one 2-time winner. That's our Norm Duke. Wes Malott, tour best 5th TV show today, can change all that by winning his 2nd tour title and put a stronghold on winning his first ever Player of the Year honor, something he wants very much to do. With more on that first semifinal, let's go lane level now to Randy Peterson and Norm Duke.
Thank you, Dave. And Mr. Duke, an exciting opening matchup featuring 2 players that really know how to throw a lot of strikes. Of course, I'm talking about Wes Malott and our defending champion, Brian Himmler.
Yeah, Brian Himmler, affectionately known on tour as the Chief, because he's always leading the pack. If you want some golf reservations or some dinner, maybe directions somewhere, we call the Chief. But this year, he's been anything but a leader on the lanes. 9th place, his best finish all season, and the only time he cracked the top 10. But during the Christmas break, he went home and made some changes to his game physically. Says he feels much more comfortable, and now he finds himself bowling for a title defense.
Well, in order to do that, he'll have to beat one of the hottest players on tour. I call him the Big Nasty, and that's Wes Malott, riding the strength of probably one of the strongest strike balls on tour. When he gets it going, he's hard to handle. Keep in mind, earlier this season, he won in Chicago on the Scorpion oil pattern. Today here at Lava Lanes, Medford, Oregon, we are bowling on the Scorpion oil pattern.
And Randy, our second semifinal today, will put a shock in the Denny's PBA Tour. A couple of former wheat shockers from Wichita State, Patrick Healey Jr. and the young gun Sean Rash, who's 2 for 2. 2 TV appearances, 2 titles for the youngster from Wichita. Scorpion, the oil pattern. First TV appearance for Rash was actually on this Scorpion pattern, Parkersburg, West Virginia last year. He won it. A lot of success for Brian Himmler and for Wes Malott, as Randy mentioned, on this very pattern. 41 feet. And we are getting set for the first semifinals. Wes Malott gets his last couple of practice balls in, and we'll be ready to go here. Can Brian Himmler defend his title? Can Wes Malott put himself firmly in the driver's seat for Player of the Year honors? That is one key question we'll try to answer today. A huge Bengals fan. Brian Himmler, first TV ball of this season. Great start. As he has all 10 back with a powerful strike. It has been more than a year since we've seen Brian Himmler on television. Last time was his last title here in Medford. From just outside Dallas, big Wes Malott. The definition of a young gun. Trying to take down the legends this year. Our big theme on the Denny's PBA Tour. A 5th appearance for him on TV. And ready a 4-pin for Wes.
Wes Malott's been doing quite nicely this season. You guys can hear me? He's got that one title in Chicago, same oil pattern we talked about. And he's really owned this Scorpion oil pattern.
Has the single pin spare conversion. Norm leads us to the Ace Hardware matchup. Brian Himmler, as you mentioned, top of the broadcast, trying to find his game again. Can he do it today is the question.
Well, I think he's found his game, and it's up to him now to bring it on Sunday. Now, you know, this matchup, it's just as level as you can get. 289s are high games, 12-5, 12-3 in match play. They're both averaging over 233. It's just a toss-up.
Get some late help on the 10-pin.
And as Randy says, one of the most, if not the most, powerful strike ball in the game of bowling, and this is what it does to the 10-pin with regularity.
Got no program monitor in front of me, guys.
Last TV show for Wes got to the finals. Cleveland lost to his good buddy Tommy Jones in a thriller.
Nice shot by Brian Himmler. Always important to open up strong against an opponent, especially when you haven't been on television in a long time. That's how you do it, Brian.
You'd think, Norm, the nerves will be going for Brian Himmler.
Well, they're definitely going for Brian. He hasn't been on television since this tournament last year. So, you know, first of all, he missed it. Second of all, he doesn't want, you know, mess up the first time back. He just soon shoot 300.
Hey, he's off to a great start. He got the first 3 here, and he told us last night when we met with him that a 300 would be quite possible today with the look he's had on this Scorpion pattern.
Well, no doubt, especially after you get a couple of games bowled. All these guys are going to be playing about the same area. They're all going to be arcing the ball down lane to about the same area. I think the scores are going to go up as we bowl.
Back to Big Wes. 11th TV appearance for him in his career. And Norm, they're barely finding the 1-3 pocket.
Well, that's about all they have to do out there right now when they're coming in from that strong of an angle. You barely hit the pocket, you're going to get strings.
It must be fun to have all those revs and have that ball hit the pocket and just spray pins everywhere.
for a turkey.
But instead, he's got a split to deal with. That's a tough break.
Wow, a little high on the head pin. He thinks he's going to trip the 4 for the turkey, and he leaves the 4-6 split. Just between a bad break and a bad shot. But I guarantee you halfway down the lane, he thought he could have a turkey on that shot.
Split numbers for Big Wes Malott. Will not convert this one, and an open frame. Brian Himmler has the first 3. He starts his match with the turkey.
Boy, he's sitting on the bench, watches Wes Malott get the open right in front of him. He's on a double. He could just almost leave Wes Malott behind with this one.
Chance for a huge 34-pin lead here with a front 4 for the Cincinnati Kid. That's a high shot, though. Wow, just a 6-pin count for Brian Himmler. Had a chance to really put some distance, Randy, between he and Wes Malott.
Yeah, he leaves himself the 3-6-9-10, which is not the easiest spare conversion out here. But on this oil pattern, scorpion oil pattern, at least you can get the ball to the right and have it flip back and cover that back pin, the 9-pin. That's what makes it so difficult, is covering the back pin.
Yeah, it does. As a matter of fact, I'd trade it for a washout any day.
Thanks.
It's the first ever head-to-head TV matchup between these two. And he won't do it.
And that's why, Randy, you have to give the ball some room. You have to hook it back to get the 9-pin. You run the risk of chop otherwise, but then you run the risk of sailing by the 3-pin, as Brian Himmler did.
Dramatic turnaround, guys. Could have been a 34-pin lead for Himmler with a strike there in the 4th. Instead, just an 8-pin spread now, as each have open frames. A road to TV for Brian Himmler. Patrick Allen, a winner last week in Reno, 8th career title, first of the season for him. And Del Valle Jr. went down in 5 games. Maybe Brian Himmler wins his first of the season. 9-pin.
Just as good as he can throw it. Ball just bites so hard on the back end. There is absolutely no deflection with this shot. Just misses the 9-pin on the left side.
Talked about some of the changes that he's made in his swing. He got on video with his ball rep, Chris Schlemmer, and they found some problems with the setup and getting the ball into the swing too early. That was making Brian get way too far ahead of it and having to pull down. And ever since he's made the adjustment, he said he feels spot on, and his confidence is right back where it was when he was winning.
Guys, you saw that graphic a moment ago on the up and down week that Brian had a 240 early in his first block, but his second block had a 197 game. He bailed himself out with a 257 in the last game. So over Brian LeClaire, he made the round of 32 by 1 pin, and now he's in the finals. It's pretty amazing. Back to Wes. 7-10.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Wes thought he had a new lease on this game, and with Brian Himmler opening the door.
Jordan, give me some luck back home, buddy.
Oh, he throws a great shot. Jordan not giving any hot luck thus far. 7-10.
That's his young son back home in the Dallas area, Jordan. Wife Meredith watching. Wes told us last night that he spent a lot of time with his family over the Christmas break. Didn't practice as much as he would have liked to because of all the holiday obligations. There's a 7-pin up and another open frame for Wes Malott. And he told us he practiced at a bowling center with kind of rough surface and found that he had to throw the ball a lot harder. It took him out of his normal routine because those were not PBA conditions. Then he had to readjust when he got back to Reno last week.
Well, it might not have been that bad a thing because this whole back half of our segments, we're going to be bowling on some very high friction lanes. A lot of pro-anvil lane. Boomers really love it when that friction's out there. I think it might have done him some good even though.
Let's go, Wes! Come on, Jordan. Where you at, baby? Let's go, Medford! Come on!
All right, Wes Malott gets pumped up. His son back home, rooting him on. Wes Malott, Brian Himmler, our first semifinal today. Earl Anthony Medford Classic from Medford, Oregon. We got a good one. Don't go away. Conclusion of the semi coming up next. The Earl Anthony Medford Classic is brought to you by Denny's. Denny's always works. By Discover Card, it's time a credit card put you in the driver's seat. By Columbia 300, the official PBA supplier of high-performance bowling balls. Columbia bowls the world over. And by Motel 6, official lodging partner of the PBA. For the lowest price of any national chain, go to Motel6.com. Top-ranked player in the world right now, Wes Malott, 19-pin deficit head-to-head with the defending champ of this event, Brian Himmler from Cincinnati. Randy, let's check in with the Atomic Edge. Has to do with Brian Himmler making some big adjustments.
Yeah, you know, Brian Himmler's got a very unique game, and he's always got the ball into the swing early and then chased it. But watch here, he's actually raised his starting position, which helped his push away. He gets that ball into the swing early, gets his feet to really fly, and then runs after it. Beautiful balance at the foul line, and he has a lot of revolutions, gets a lot of really good stuff on the ball.
Brian Himmler subject to this week's Atomic Edge. First TV appearance of the season for him. We asked him last night, why is it so hard to make TV? He said, boy, so many great bowlers out there. Tommy Jones, mentioned you, Norm, Walter Ray, Pete, Wes Malott, competing week in and week out. It's a grind on this tour. Look a bit high off the release. Indeed, it is. And he's lost the 1-3 pocket.
Norm, I bowled this week, and the one thing that I found was the lanes had a tendency to break down. And when they broke down, you really had to make a big move. And the last 2 shots for Brian Himmler, well, the last 2 out of 3 shots, he went 3-6, 9-10, and now he's at the 3-6-10. But I think it's time for him to make a big move on the right lane.
I could not agree with you more.
Look out.
Does cover this time. Had the open earlier in the match.
Trying to rally the troops, Brian Himmler.
That was in the 4th frame. This is going to be a grinded-out type match, guys. You can tell.
Yeah, you know, this is no building to make micro adjustments in. Once you go a little bit high, you need to move that Mother May I. Mother May I move 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boards to the left and just wheel on it to the same spot, and they'll be doing that all day long. That's why the scores are going to be bigger later on in today's telecast, in my opinion.
Almost helped with a messenger across the deck on number 10. And the big Bengals fan has the 10-pin to deal with here.
You'd move 7 boards left off of that high 3-6-10 hit.
Oh, that's not that uncommon. You know, you get that area drying up. You can't just move a board or 2.
Fell off the camera right in the right gutter. See it? There's a cord that came right off.
Okay, there you see that cable. Looks like it's exposed from one of our cameras. So we'll get that rectified as quickly as possible, and then Brian will deal with that 10-pin. Be sure to head to PBA.com for all the latest Bowl Space, the first online social network exclusively for bowlers. At Bowl Space, you can set up a profile, share pictures, videos, and stories with other bowlers. In addition, one lucky winner will be chosen to receive a virtual coaching lesson from a PBA player and a PBA prize package. Simply click the Bowl Space link on the PBA.com homepage today. While we have a moment, guys, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to Emma Suzanne Ryan. My daughter turned 12 years old today in Syracuse.
Happy birthday,
Emma.
That's a pretty big target.
To you.
Thank you, Red. Thank you.
No, we all love you.
So last year, Medford, Oregon, Brian Himmler was able to get a victory. He had the confidence. It was on the shark pattern, Randy, a different pattern than we're bowling here, but as he told us last night, just being in the center again really gave him a great feel.
You can see a little difference there in his swing. A little bit better push away now. The ball's falling from a better height.
Yeah, really.
That makes his swing a little bit looser. Said he was getting it in early,
Gonna set that up?
which is making him real steep. And you know as well as I do, Norm, you start getting the ball in early or too early, and your swing starts to become very vertical, up and down, or real steep. You tend to grab it at the bottom of the swing. It's just inevitable.
Yes, and the ball also hooks early because it's driving directly into the floor. So either hits the wall and skips to the right, or hits and skips to the left.
No.
You can't find any consistency with the steep swing.
All right, guys, after the delay, ready to resume this semifinal match. Patrick Healey Jr., Sean Rash, the other semifinal here from Medford. This is a 10-pin. He's had a couple minutes off here. And he's got it.
Is he still shooting that 10-pin?
Yeah, I think so. Been a very difficult year for Brian Himmler. He told us extremely frustrating. Finally back on TV for the first time all season. 30th in the rankings, just over 23,000 in earnings with a 219.8 average. Meanwhile, Wes the polar opposite. He is up there amongst the greats in all the major categories. Another 10-pin. It stands with the scout giving it a nudge, but not over.
He's throwing everything at that 10-pin he can find.
I don't think I've ever seen Wes Malott's ball hit this soft. I mean, look at that ball going down the lane. It looks like it's going to knock 20 pins down. He leaves the pocket 7-10, where nothing even attempted to take the 7 or the 10 out, and that was another flat 10. Why do you think his ball is hitting so weak, Norm?
Well, it's possible that the ball is tiring. And we'll know a little later, you know, if this ball continues to flat 10, then you'll see evidence of it tiring. It's just hooking out. But the same token, you know, I mentioned the Mother May I. Wes could easily step 2 or 3, 4 boards to the left right now.
Just get a little softer?
And just wind on it more. Get that ball really rotating, and then the pins will start flying again as usual.
You know what to do here. Come on, get it done. That's it. That's the way to do it.
He talked himself into that strike. Wes, who started his career 3-7 on TV, is now 4-1 in his last 5 matches. We know about his titles as he tries to climb the ladder as one of the real greats of the game. He told us last night he was determined heading into this season to become player of the year this year. And he's in that spot. He can do it. Brian Himmler has other ideas. Up 15, 8th frame. Best ball of the day for the Chief.
There's your big move left, your Mother May I. 3, 4 boards there, Norm. That was high flush perfect.
You know, that was one of the hardest things for me in becoming, you know, somebody who utilizes the hook ball, is to learn that it's nothing to move 3 or 4 or 5 boards to the left. And, you know, Mike Machugo has been drilling this into my head for a long time. Norm, just move, hit it harder. They all return, and all these guys are begging for that friction to build up.
Big shot. Chance for a 25-pin lead. Foundation frame.
Yes, sir! Yes!
Well, you can really see how tight the left lane is, too. Look how straight and how direct he's going left lane. The right lane obviously hooks more. But take a look at this. What a beautiful shot right here.
Yes, sir! Yes!
Brian Himmler trying to become the first repeat winner on our tour since 04-05 Japan Cup. Last year's Player of the Year, Tommy Jones.
Big shot here in the 9th for Wes Malott.
Gotta have it. Tie. 8-pin count.
See spot he hit, I guess, finally. Oh, well.
That lane hooks. Wes didn't anticipate his ball overhooking on that lane. Or, Norm, was it just a case of Wes trying to get a little bit more on it to get his ball to strike when it hit the pocket?
Well, he definitely wanted more on it to get the 10-pin out. But I think he failed to move those 2 or 3 or 4 boards to the left to keep the ball in the pocket. He just tried to get his hand to get the ball to hit. Well, then he hits the spot that everybody's been bowling on, and it overhooks for the 6-10. That puts Wes in dire straits here. 25 pins back. He can only make up 10 himself. That would need almost catastrophe for Brian Himmler to not win this game.
Somehow the 10 stands.
The tighter
Wes
of the
Malott.
2 lanes.
Second semifinal, it's Sean Rash, Patrick Healey Jr., both attended Wichita State, but different eras. Sean told us last night that Patrick's name was thrown about with Lonnie Walczek, Rick Steele-Smith, Justin Romick, Chris Barnes as the greats at Wichita State who came before Sean Rash, who graduated there from 2003, 2-time All-American. So you know the Wichita State program is camped around their bowling center today watching us on TV.
Yeah, all those guys titleists on the Denny's PBA Tour.
Amazing. What a tradition. That's our second semi. Looks like Himmler will take on the winner of that one for the title.
It's all right. We'll be back, guys.
So Wes Malott and his bid for Player of the Year honors. A second title of the season, which would time with our Norm Duke. For tour best will be sidelined at least for one more week. That's all Brian Himmler needs. He'll take 9 and take a spot in the finals.
Thank you. One more, baby.
Randy, I don't know if Brian Himmler was testing the waters there or not, but the last shot he threw on this lane was a good arrow left of where he played. You think he's moving in?
I don't know. I mean, you know, obviously the only thing that can really hurt him there is if he threw it in the gutter, and he's just trying to keep it on line. And I think maybe he is looking to see if he's got a little bit more hold area. I guarantee you by the time he comes back for the title match, he's going to be a good arrow left of where he is right now.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Keep an eye on that adjustment. We saw Patrick Healey Jr. waiting in the wings. And a very strong finish to the semifinal for Brian Himmler. We got to meet one of his football heroes, Chad Johnson, at a book signing recently. He loves those Bengals, and he loves winning on the Denny's PBA Tour. He's on a spot in the championship match, trying to defend his title here in Medford, Oregon. Such a great bowling town here in Medford, Oregon. We're very pleased again to be joined in the audience today by Earl Anthony's widow, Susie Anthony, here again to watch the event. We've seen her here several years, and a special hello to Susie Anthony. Time now for one of the most enjoyable segments on our Denny's PBA Tour broadcast. It's the Skills Challenge. You'll see trick shots, amazing things with a bowling ball. You've got to check it out. Here's the round of 8 matchups. It'll be fun to watch.
No tricks. We're just going to try to throw this one real far because neither one of them can throw it that far. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, that's plenty. That could be deep. Plenty.
Get 9! Get 9! Technically, it went over the chair. Can we get instant replay? Heel. I see Tommy throw it lefty. I'm in good shape.
Grand slam brush. Grand slam brush. Oh, that's close.
Oh, okay.
Stop it.
We got both of those.
All right, we're going to go with our double specialty shot. We're going to call this the kissing shot because I have the only female in the competition, and it's a great thing.
I'm
You
not
guys watch
kissing PB3.
Jason Couch, kiss Parker, Bohn the third.
Not right at all.
Good, Judd.
Ready?
Yep, you go. Oh, good enough. Oh, hit it. You guys don't get 19. You're still kissing. 19, 19, 19. Oh, Parker got 6. All right, we're going to go over the first chair, back under the second chair, high count. Game over. Everybody go home. Thanks for staying. Having a good night. Takes more than that, brother. Takes way more than that.
Oh! Nice shot. Way to go.
Let's go on the road to Denny's PBA Tour after that incredible skills challenge. Wow. How about those shots?
A lot of love going on there.
I'll say. Found Bowl, suburban LA, played coach of the pros, 6th straight year. Fielding more than 150 bowlers expected. An open event, Pro-Am times. There you see them, and log on to PBA.com for ticket information. The 16th and 20th. Then we're going to Henderson, Nevada, outside Las Vegas. Strike zone at Sunset Station. Pro-Ams at the same center. For more ticket and time information for the Pro-Ams, log on to PBA.com. We're looking forward to our second semifinal from here in beautiful Medford, Oregon. Can Sean Rash stay perfect? This guy's been on TV twice. Yeah, 2 victories for Sean, the young gun. His parents are here from Alaska to check it out. Rash in action when we return. This is a 35 event held in Oregon of the Denny's PBA Tour. 6 straight at Lava Lanes, and Brian Himmler with a convincing win over Wes Malott in the first semifinal. So Rash Healey Jr. matchup in the second. Himmler trying to defend his championships for more than a year since Brian has made TV. He won here last year. Let's check in with the Denny's PBA Tour average leaders are Norm Duke, winner of that honor a year ago. Has the lead again over a 229 average. Wes Malott on our show today is 3rd. Sean Rash in the 10th spot right now, having a very good year. Can Sean Rash stay perfect? That's a big story. Another story, too, is Norm, your toe, unable to compete again much the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm still day to day. I'm looking forward to next week. I think I'm going to be able to play, but, you know, I thought that about this week. So, you know, until it feels right, I've just got to stay off of it.
Norm's got a broken toe, folks, who's been out for the last 2 weeks. Wish you the quick return back to excellence. Here's Sean Rash. 2 shows, 2 wins for the youngster. That's right. Now, Randy, in my opinion, this is the equivalent of a Major League Baseball pitcher starting his career with 2 no-hitters. It's that impressive. Diana and Gene are here from Alaska, the Anchorage area. It's just amazing what he's done.
He doesn't know how to lose on TV. He hasn't been there yet. We first look at Patrick Healey Jr., like you said, Dave, another guy from Wichita State. Very quiet demeanor, Patrick Healey Jr., but a very passionate guy. He totally embraced another country and language. You can see here that Sean Rash averaged much higher than Pat Healey Jr. Pat Healey had a tough go of it in match play to get to this. Patrick Healey also bowled back-to-back 300 games in the round of 16.
Yeah, he had a tough go except those 2 games.
Yeah.
So for the first time ever, these 2 former Shockers from Wichita State go head-to-head. Randy referring to Patrick's residence in Mexico City. He and his wife Teresa live there. His stepson Victor, who's now 17.
Steelest head in the game of bowling, Patrick Healey.
Smooth. That's what you think of when you think of Patrick Healey Jr. for the first time.
Well, he was struggling with his game, and after the tournament in Wickliffe, Ohio, he took the short drive to Akron and went and worked with one of the greatest coaches to ever live, Fred Borden. And Fred found some things that Patrick was doing. He changed his setup a bit, worked on his push away, and actually really worked hard on his release. And ever since then, Patrick's worst finish has been 8th.
Not bad. Here's Rash. Staying high.
Two different bowling balls. And he's compensating for the friction on that right lane, using a more aggressive ball in the left lane, the tighter of the 2 lanes.
Road to TV for Sean Rash. Ronnie Russell went down, along with Dino Castillo. They were bowlers who came out of the Tour qualifying round, the TQR. Sean became the first bowler ever last year to get through that pre-round and win a tournament. That was in Parkersburg, West Virginia, with shots like that one.
That looked a bit left out of his hand, Norm, and it just kind of held pocket and went high flush. Did that shot look left to you as well?
It really did, but one of the strengths of Sean Rash is the ability to really wind the ball up, but with end-over-end rev. And that rev will allow the ball to lay there left of target instead of trying to snap into the nose or skid out for that 2-8-10.
Back to Healey Jr., who has a 10-pin. I think we'd all agree that Patrick Healey Jr. has some of technically the best skills the game has ever seen. The winning on TV and becoming a great player by really capitalizing, Norm, that's been a different story.
Well, it has, but you know, the problem I think with Healey is he's making a lot of shows during majors where you have some of the greatest out there qualifying. You know, he's always bowling against Weber, Walter Ray Williams, Tommy Jones, always against the high-profile people. And I don't think he's had such a bad run on television. He's just, those guys have really bowled good against him.
Talked about it earlier, his road to make television. You can see 2 of his matches went the distance, but what you're looking at in this match is old school versus new school. You've got the high rev guy in Sean Rash using those revolutions to create a lot of area on the lane, and right here, this is old school. This is all about keeping your head steady, eyes on your target, and repeating shots.
Just like that one. In his 28th career TV appearance, but he's only had a 216 average on TV, 3 and 5 in title matches. His last championship match all the way back to, unfortunately, Randy, for you, a day you probably remember pretty well. Win over Chris Barnes and Randy Peterson en route to the title at the Tournament of Champions, December 14th, 03. That was his last championship for Patrick Healey Jr.
Thanks, Dave. I just got out of therapy over that, and you had to bring it up again.
First time Sean Rash has missed the 1-3 pocket.
Next thing you're going to say is, hey, Randy, remember the time that you left a solid 8 against Ernie Schlegel to lose by a pin?
I was going to bring that one up.
Now, Norm, this is one of the things that I wanted to look for today when Sean Rash spoke with us last night about how he was going to attack the lanes. And what I wanted to watch for specifically was the fact that Sean may try to hook it too much today. That shot there kind of looked to me like he's trying to play way too much angle.
Well, you know, maybe, but one thing is when you're going to try to hook the ball, you better catch it. And that shot fell off his hand early. He missed that at the bottom of the swing. I don't care what ball he had in his hand. It wasn't getting back. It just wasn't a quality shot for him. But, you know, 9 spare, move on, try to start the string up again here on the left one.
Hold. Didn't hold, Sean. Look out.
Often what happens when you miss one, you make sure you get it on the next try.
4-9.
Then you pay full penalty here.
Well, he missed in on this lane the shot before, and the ball went high flush. Now, when that happens to me, I end up making a move because I knew that I missed left, the ball held. The next time I throw a good shot, if I get in that same spot, it's going to go high.
Split numbers, not favorable.
Oh!
Hey, he did it again!
I love it.
Medford?
Remember last year at Parkersburg, the multiple 210 conversions.
Well, he made 3 that day, and Sean Rash is just making very difficult, tough splits. He's making it look pretty easy.
That's how you stay perfect on TV.
And probably the most impressive thing about his game.
Wow.
Look back.
Yeah. It does for Patrick Healey Jr.
Turn the lights out with that one.
This really is an intriguing matchup. First ever on TV between the 2 generations of Wichita State stars, the 14-time national champs in Kansas for Coach Gordon Vatican, the assistant coach Mark Lewis. Gordon's coached there since 1977, won 10 national titles. They're both coaches now in the USBC Hall of Fame. As we talked about, all over the Wichita Bowling Center, pictures of Patrick Healey Jr., some of the great stars have come through.
Yeah,
and now Sean Rash, who saw those as a youngster bowling there, as against one of the former Shockers.
Dave, Patrick would say, 60 pies a éxito. 60 feet of success in Spanish, baby.
Well said in any language. Patrick Healey Jr. gets the turkey and now has a 12-pin lead on Sean Rash. Exciting conclusion of this semifinal next. The Earl Anthony Medford Classic is brought to you by Bear. The more you know, the more you trust Bear. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. And by H&R Block. When you got H&R Block, you got people. Medford, Oregon, home of the Harry and David business. That's Everyone pretty hungry here. Make an order, I think, right? How about it? PBA's West Coast swing continues as the tour returns to the Las Vegas area. First time since January of 2003. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. But first, we're going to Fountain Bowl, suburban LA. That's next week, 6th straight year that we have been at Fountain Bowl in Orange County, California. Dick Weber Open next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. Sean Rash down 12. Works on a spare here. His opponent, Patrick Healey Jr., has 3 straight strikes. Who faces Brian Himmler in the final? 7-pin.
Yeah, that ball wiggled down the lane. He got it in. He got a lot on it, but as soon as it starts to make that turn, skips out a little bit, and then just doesn't hit quite hard enough.
And one thing that the players were all in agreement with this week was that you had to keep your ball speed down a bit to get the ball to read properly. And I think that wiggling, you can see that ball just not really wanting to make up its mind whether or not to hook, is a direct result of speed.
Absolutely, a direct result of too much speed, maybe too much speed and too much spin.
All right, guys, our Flomax Weekly Update. 37th last week for Sean Rash in Reno. A 12-4 match play run for him propelled him to the show, and we spoke with Sean yesterday about the confidence he's had on TV. He's never lost a TV match, as we talked about today. A little swagger that comes from being an NCAA All-American at Wichita State. And a great amateur bowler, one of the best in the world. Just a 7-pin count here, though, as he looks for that path to the pocket.
And right now, Sean Rash is feeling something that he's never felt before on television, and that's trying to come back from a substantial deficit.
Yeah.
Two more strikes. Patrick Healey Jr. will take a
Yeah,
36-pin lead.
Yeah, it's 16 now, but it would be 36, so he's actually hoping that Patrick Healey gives him a little bit of help here. Doesn't just close the door on him.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's been so long. 56 events since his last win.
Look how still that head is.
2-pin with a real chance to shut the door on a 4-bagger.
He lost this off his hand, but you can see that steady head. Eyes on the target, beautiful position at the bottom. But it looked like he lost that ball a little bit off his hand, and that ball never gripped the right lane. And I thought, quite honestly, that Patrick Healey was going to strike in that frame.
Takes care of the single pin conversion. We talk about the long drought for Healey Jr. since his last title. He's made 6 TV appearances since. And in those appearances, 1 and 6 with 2.08 average. How do you explain a player with such great skill struggling so much on TV?
I think, like I said before, half of that is he's bowling on major conditions, which are much more difficult to score on. And he makes a lot of shows in those majors. And the second thing is he's just not comfortable when he's out there. Give him 1 or 2 wins, he gets comfortable, he's allowed to run the table.
A frame. And a 7-pin, almost had a split.
Begging for that one to turn up.
I'm confused. I mean, double, 10-pin, 3-bagger. I'm thinking he's dialed in. He's just in the zone, and the last 2 shots go light.
Still anyone's match here. Brian Himmler's won the first semifinal, trying to defend his title in Medford. Who will join him is the question. Sean Rash, his parents are here. They've both flown down from Anchorage, Alaska, where he spent most of his childhood. Now lives in Wichita, does Sean, after graduating from Wichita State. Diana and Gene, now for his first tour title. Parkersburg last year, Gene made that crazy overnight trip, barely got there in time, driving from Ohio. And then his last title, his mom made it in Baltimore. Now they're both here for good luck.
His mom looks just like Kathy Bates, doesn't she?
Spitting image. And she saw that perfect ball from her son. Congratulations also to Patrick's brother Justin. He and his wife Marion just had a baby a couple days ago. Niece for Sean, Emily, Melissa, born in Denver.
No matter what Sean Rash does here, 8th, 9th, 10th frame, well, he just struck in the 8th. He cannot shut out Patrick Healey Jr. Little ball change here in the left lane.
Going to the ball that he was using on the right lane.
Help on number 10.
And the big break to boot. You just thought you were going to leave a 10-pin, but no, here comes the head pin off the wall. Just tomahawks his 10-pin.
Ah, youth. You know, I remember when I used to do that, Norm, about 20 years ago. All right, well, that didn't happen 20 years ago.
I don't remember that, sorry.
Yeah.
Huge frame here. 9th foundation frame, Healey Jr.
It's wide and has nothing on it.
Oh, what a break indeed, and a light hit. He gets a strike. That's a break.
Calm down.
Yeah, that's a combination you never get away with. It seems like it's wide with nothing on it. And this is what Patrick Healey does here. To get the trip 2-pin in this position, 9th frame where you can be shut out otherwise. 2 good shots here on the left lane. And he could win.
2 more and 7.
Can he do it?
Close. Oh, my God. That was a good one, too.
He liked it, obviously.
2-pin.
That ball never hooked. To me, it looked firm.
I don't disagree with you. I didn't think it had a chance off his hand. It just looked like it was air, but he liked it. Obviously trying to go more direct. Don't take this spare for granted. Get up, make your spare. You still can win this match.
He does that.
Well, good count here in Sean Rash.
And he's going to get this shot in, we know.
We'll need the first hit to win. The last 4 shots that he's thrown have not hooked up to the puck.
No, I think his feet are in the wrong spot at this point because, you know, obviously when a bowler gets finished with a shot and says, I like it, and it doesn't hit the pocket, feet in the wrong spot. Count, anything over 8 here.
Interesting.
All 10 down, so he finds the 1-3 pocket, but awfully late. And there's his score. But Sean Rash has a chance. He's done it before. Tremendous pressure on the youngster. His parents have made the trip from Alaska to see this very moment.
Has to strike on this ball.
And on TV, he has struck every time that he had to strike to win.
Magnificent shot. And all that power, the pins don't have a chance.
You know, it just takes that 10-pin completely out of play unless it's a ringing one, Randy. Wouldn't you have liked to have had that advantage when you were young where you just leave a 10-pin and you get the head pin coming back every time?
Wow. And he throws the heater to take his 8 pins and a victory over Patrick Healey Jr. in the semis. He'll remain perfect on TV. And a chance to win a 3rd title and 3 TV shows for the young gun from Wichita State. A late rescue of this one. He's done it again.
Great shot.
Where you at, Medford? I can't hear you. What? He's got flair. He's got passion. And he's in the finals. Medford Meteor, Marshall Holman from right here in Medford, Oregon. In his great PBA career, won 22 titles. That's 11th all time. Won 4 majors. The 1987 Player of the Year. Look at the hair, too. Love that. Or lack thereof in this shot. $1.7 billion in earnings and a 1990 inductee into the Hall of Fame. Marshall Holman. one of the favorite sons of Southern Oregon, and it is hometown. Great to see Marshall again. Great to see that old video, Marshall Holman. You were a commissioner exemption pick from our commissioner, Fred Schreier. How was that experience for you?
Well, it was a lot of fun, Dave. You know, if it had been a 7-game qualifier, I'd have had a chance. I'd had a chance, but there were too many games, and for what I'm putting into bowling, I got out of it about what I put into it, and had an okay week throwing it and having a great time having the pros here in my hometown. How would you evaluate what we've seen so far in the first 2 semifinals? Well, it looks like the lanes have started to transition, and in watching Sean Rash, he reminds me of a guy I knew many years ago. Maybe not quite as ballistic, but he's fun to watch. And you know, the Chief, he just bowls great here every year. He's looking to defend his championship, so it's going to be a great match. I look for a lot of firepower out there. Why is this such a special bowling town? It's your hometown, I know. Well, you know, it's Rick Donnelly and his staff. They really embrace this event. They do a great job of making the pros feel at home. And all of Medford and Rogue Valley, they support the bowlers. Place is always packed. So, you know, these guys, they like bowling in front of a large audience, and they get it here in Southern Oregon. All right, Marshall, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again. Thank you. Marshall Holman, PBA Hall of Famer, appearing again for us in Medford, Oregon. We are getting set for the finals. The young Sean Rash trying to take down Brian Himmler, the defending champ. Can Rash stay perfect on TV? Brian Himmler has other ideas. Last week, the Denny's PBA Tour visited Reno, Nevada, and saw a TV final for the ages. 4 stars appeared in the biggest little city in the world, all looking for another Denny's PBA Tour title. In the semifinals, PBA legend Pete Weber matched up against Patrick Allen, looking for his 8th career title. While the all-time great Walter Ray Williams Jr. took on a fiery Jason Couch. In the semis, Couch fell to Walter Ray, and Weber lost to Patrick Allen. It was PA who hit the jackpot in Reno, defeating the legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the championship. Who hits the mark in Medford this week? We find out next. There is Brian Himmler from Cincinnati, Ohio, getting set to defend his championship here in Medford, Oregon against the young gun Sean Rash, bidding for his 3rd title. He has never lost on TV, trying to continue the excellence today. What we've seen so far in the semifinals, Himmler beat Malott, and Rash knocked off former Wichita State alum Patrick Healey Jr., leading us, Randy, to the Geico Championship recap.
Dave, I'll tell you what, these guys are making it look so easy, even a therapist could do it. Semifinal number 1, Brian Himmler defeated Wes Malott by the score of 209 to 183. The Chief is back in the championship match to defend his title. And in semifinal number 2, Sean Rash defeated Patrick Healey Jr. by the score of 232 to 227. Rash strikes first ball in the 10th to stay undefeated on TV.
Our Geico Championship recap. He is 5-0 so far. And our keys to victory, guys, what do you think?
Brian Himmler made that swing change, but he also said, I have to keep my first step slow. And Sean Rash, he's just going to do that voodoo that you do.
Remember, he's a young guy, so he can say things like that. And back out with shots like that.
Sean Rash will be hooking the entire lane. Brian Himmler, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to move in there with Sean. We know that Brian can hook it. How much higher he's starting with that ball in that new starting position.
And it's paid off for him. Bidding for a 5th career title. As we check out, Randy, the Ace Hardware matchup between these two Himmlers made big changes with his game, and it's really paid off for him.
Paid off for him. He's got the confidence. The swing feels much better. The last 3 weeks out here, he's bowled great. Sean Rash is feeling like he's invincible. Lot of confidence in the Rash camp.
Brian Himmler nicknamed the Chief because as a kid, he was always the leader of the pack. He was always telling everyone where to go, sort of directing the gang of friends, and the nickname is stuck. Right hit there, ends up in a split.
Yeah, he got in there in that zone where Sean Rash is just catching it all, but Brian just doesn't get the hook on the back end that Sean did.
8-10. Split numbers. Will drop.
Yeah,
Early open.
You're not bouncing too many pins out of these pin decks.
Now it's got that curtain that just hangs there. It's not like a regular pin deck. It just absorbs everything. Sucks it in there. There's no chance at a 7-10 spare.
Perfection for Sean Rash. It does. Late help on the 7. Now, if he wins today, guys, he'd be 6-0 lifetime on TV. That would tie him for the 3rd best start ever. George Branham III has the record at 8-0 to begin his TV bowling.
George Branham III, my old tour roommate. Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. George, shout out to my good friend.
The record to win the first shows on the PBA Tour belongs to Hugh Miller, the lefty, who's also from the Great Northwest in this part of the country. He won his first 4 shows. Bowled on. Can Rash make it 3 for 3? Well,
I know.
He'll take that one again.
No shot clock violation because nothing.
$100.
Oh, that is a shot clock violation.
It is.
Fresh 25 for him.
Not sure why he balked, but obviously not comfortable with something, whether it was his feel or the way he got up to the foul line.
Yeah, and this 32-pin lead that he could take is far more important than $100. He catches it all.
Whoa! This kid gets another break, I tell you.
Gotta be Sunday.
Wow, his parents love it. A high shot that could have been a disaster ends up with all 10 down.
I mean, this could have been 5. Watch him just cave in the big 4 right there. Tell you what, when you've got the mojo, you've got it. I mean, pins fall your way and stuff like that happens.
The voodoo, you do.
So well.
Back to Himmler. And in direct contrast, his scout goes across the deck and averts the 10, whereas Rash seems to get every break.
Yeah, and this is the advantage that Himmler usually enjoys, is he overpowers his opponents. He catches the head pin across into the 10 at key moments, and it seems at this moment that Sean Rash is enjoying those breaks.
But if you look at the entry angle from both guys, Sean Rash's entry angle is so much stronger into the pins, and to me, that's why his carry percentage is higher.
Entry angle from the backside of the oil pattern.
From about, exactly, from about 40 feet, 45 feet, and the ball starts to go left, you can see there's a much stronger move on Sean Rash's part, and I think that's because his rev rate's a little bit higher and he's getting around the side of the ball more. He's got a little bit more axis rotation. A little more spin.
Good shot.
Yeah, and you see he gave it the business there to get it to face up.
Best shot for Brian Himmler in this championship match. Still, he's got a huge deficit to face against this young gun who has reason to smile. Sean Rash goes for a perfect 6-0 to begin his TV career and a 3rd title. Maybe he'll be player of the year, we never know. Year in, year out, Lava Lanes here in Medford, Oregon. One of the favorite stops on the Denny's PBA Tour for our crew and for the bowlers. 6th straight year they've hosted a Denny's PBA Tour event that's tied with 5 other current centers on our PBA Tour for the most years hosted.
There's the man right there, Rick Donnelly. Rick Donnelly and his staff, Randy Cochran, the entire staff, you can sum them up in one word, class. The TV crew would like to send out a special thanks as they gave us their entire center for Friday night so that we may participate in the Hamilton Cup. And we didn't win because Norm wasn't there.
But what's the Hamilton Cup, Randy?
Well, hang on a minute, I'll tell you in a sec.
Let's go to Rash here, guys. Big lead in the championship match. All 10 down.
Will he ever miss? The Hamilton Cup was named after Ian Hamilton, our old commissioner that used to be out here on tour. He first started when the new PBA took over, and it's the production team that we work with week in and week out on Sundays against the professional bowlers that work on our staff. Myself, Tony Reyes, Tim Chris, Joe Ciccone.
Now the result was this year?
And it was supposed to be you, Norm, but you have the bad toes. We had to get some other schlub, Chris Barnes, in there.
And you guys threw us under the bus?
Hey, we lost. I'm sorry. Let's get back to action.
Yes, this is to open up a 42-pin lead early.
Could be 52, Norm, and that's what it is. How about Sean Rash with his start? The front 5.
Yeah, most people have a little trouble out of commercial break. Not Sean Rash.
Will he ever miss? Will he ever lose a game on television?
2 real big shots for Brian Himmler to get back in this match.
He's got to have something.
Look good.
Like that, needs a spark in a hurry. But he's in a massive hole right now, trying to defend his title here in Medford, Oregon, against that guy, young Sean Rash from Wichita, Kansas. He's only 24 years old. He was raised in Anchorage, Alaska. As we talked about, Tommy Jones, last repeat winner on tour, 05 and 04, Japan Cup titles. And more than a year ago, this very bowling center, Brian Himmler won this event. First TV appearance for him since. Repeating defeat will be no easy matter. 10 pin.
Come on.
Well,
Thanks.
Brian Himmler probably was feeling like he had to strike out from this point on to have a chance to win, and this shot was pured, and his reward is a massive ring in 10.
Yeah, at that point, you just want to shoot back at Sean, and you know, you don't want him to feel like he's the only bowler out there. And so that was a big shot.
Well, guys, it is the Motel 6 6th frame. Sean Rash at the front 5. He's striking the 6. He learned $600 from Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. Also eligible for $6,000 bonus if he throws the front 6 more than any other bowler on TV this year.
And Dave, I've said it before, it's all about the Benjamins.
I think Sean isn't TV savvy. Wants to make sure the Motel 6 head pin's in the right spot.
not to
a chance for $600 here.
Not to mention the last time he did this, he said there's a car payment. And we're still trying to figure out what kind of car he's driving.
There's 6 of those Benjamins. You bet. The front 6 for the kid.
Start calling him Sean Stash. Racking up 6-baggers.
Sean Cash.
Randy, that's a $500 Motel 6 today because of my balk.
Yeah, that's all right, buddy. I'm sure we can get you another 100 somewhere.
I think so. He's going for the $25,000 first place prize here today. That was a mention that Sean had to Randy Peterson. Loves that scorpion pattern. We talked about it. His first career win last year, Parkersburg, West Virginia, came on this very oil pattern, 41 feet. How about it? The front 7-7 pin laid in.
Yeah, that just ended it for Brian Himmler, that late 7-pin right there. So much on it that just pins hit other pins. Quickly up on the right lane, Brian Himmler. But Randy, I'll tell you what, all the players on the telecast today were doing is they would take the real strong balls by every manufacturer, their strongest offering, and they would drill them in where the pin locators in weak spots. So the balls, they're drilling hooking balls, but drilled weak. And then they would just wind on them, all of them. Step left, throw it toward the right. All of them got return all week long. That's why they're averaging 240.
That's how you throw him like that.
All week it was, Brian, in the 1-3 pocket. Before this week, his best finish, as Norm talked about, 9th in Long Island to finish out the first half of our season. Entered this week 35th in the rankings, up to 30th now with his TV appearance, but it's been a frustrating year for Brian Himmler. And he ran into a buzzsaw today here in the finals. Meanwhile, Rash continues the quest for a perfect game. 8th frame. 8 in a row.
I'll tell you what, we're in Medford, Oregon, the home of Marshall Holman. He put this city on the map. I used to love to watch Marshall Holman on TV. But how can you not like watching this kid right here? Is he not exciting or what?
Can't keep my eyes off of him.
There's the Medford Meteor himself, Marshall Holman.
And should he bowl this 300 game, what 3 telecast? I mean, how could you better that? First 3 telecasts, 3 wins, and a televised 300? Good grief.
That will not get the 9th, though. So we'll not have our 18th 300 game. It would have been the 2nd of the year. Tony Reyes had the other, of course, and Taylor en route to his first career title back in November.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
No, Sean, it wasn't, but a tremendous effort again for the youngster. He'll leave the 10-pin in open frame. And Sean Rash inching closer
One day.
to his 3rd career title is almost there.
No, he is there. It's mathematically over at this point.
Well, it's nice to see Brian Himmler back and bowling well again, and he'll have a lot of confidence to carry with him throughout the remainder of this season.
He had a dramatic finish here, guys, last year. The 3-6-10 spare converted against Mika Koivuniemi in the final. He had opened in the 6th. After it was a failure to convert a 2-10 spare, he was able to make that one and send the crowd here a year ago into a frenzy, winning his 4th title. Not to be today, though. Sean Rash, again the story.
It's over, everybody.
And Brian Himmler will take a runner-up to the young gun, who now tied Norm Duke.
Ready to see the worst lefty in the world? Earl is the best.
Uh-oh.
Here it is.
We're going to see some lefty here. It's over. He'll have a little fun.
That's better than I do.
Uh-oh. That's in the channel.
That's fun, man. Thanks.
Well, Brian's a good sport. The moment belongs to the kid from Wichita.
The Rash Express.
We're going to have to think it up. I mean, really, it's incredible. 3 straight shows, 3 straight wins. I mean, if you match it up with other sports. We talk about no-hitters in baseball. I mean, it's up there. Shutouts. To start a career.
Oral Hershiser's streak of consecutive scoreless innings. I mean, you know, you just get into that zone and you feel like you're never going to lose.
And that's what's happened to young Sean Rash. That was Brian Himmler behind him, dropping a ball to distract him, having some fun.
Now that we figured out what works.
3 for 3.
And the Rolex.
His parents, Gene and Diana, making the flight down from Anchorage, Alaska. 3 times. One or the other has been here, this time both, and every time Sean has won for them. It's just amazing. Sean Rash, the Denny's PBA Tour champion again. We'll have more from Medford. Hear from Sean next. The Earl Anthony Medford Classic is brought to you by Ace, the official hardware store of the PBA. Ace, the helpful place. By Atonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Atonic, first one there. By the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. And by Prescription Flomax. There is Sea Picturesque Crater Lake, located 75 miles from here in Medford. For more information, visit www.visitmedford.org. And a picture-perfect show again for Sean Rash. 3 TV shows in his young career, and the 24-year-old 3 times has won a Denny's PBA Tour title. So, Sean, you're 6-0 on TV. Another championship for you. How would you describe the feeling this time?
This one means a whole lot. You know, Earl Anthony and even Dick Weber are 2 of the greatest bowlers of our, our lifetimes. And just the win after those 2 is, you can't say anything about those. You know, us young guns, one day hopefully they'll be, naming tournaments after us. And just to win this one means a lot, and would love to win Dick Weber's tournament as well. Those 2 are just unbelievable people, and I never even got to meet them, so.
You seem to stay so focused and make the big shots. How do you accomplish those big moments?
My confidence has always been very high. My parents always told me to live life to the fullest, never look back, and it's been something that I've always cherished. And a lot of people don't like it. I can't make everyone happy. I just try to be as good as I can on the lanes and off the lanes, and being with these guys every week, it just gives me more and more confidence being able to bowl with the best of the world. So,
congratulations, Sean Rash does it again. He is perfect on TV. 3 times he's been on, and 3 times he's taken home a title. The young gun thinking about Player of the Year. That's what he's thinking about. Dick Weber Open coming your way next week. Sean said he'd like to win that one too. 1 o'clock Eastern Time from Southern California. Look forward to seeing you then. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now, for Randy Peterson and Norm Duke, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Medford, Oregon. Look forward to seeing you next week in Southern California. Man of the moment, one more time, Sean Rash.